I love to see stories of people finally waking up. Here's another one.
What is the biggest lie you believed about Democrats until you actually did your own research and learned that you were wrong? I'll go first. I didn't really pay attention to politics, and because I didn't have to, but I bought the rumblings that I heard in my conservative circles that Democrats were bad for the country because they were bad on policy, that they made everything too expensive, that they blew up the budget, that Democratic cities are running out of money, and that they're filled with crime, and they can't manage a budget, and they can't do anything right. And it turns out it's actually the exact opposite. If you look at the data over and over and over again, Republican presidents screw over our budget and our fiscal responsibility in our country, and Democratic presidents have to clean up the mess. If you look at any metric, crime, education, healthcare, quality of life, the best states, the majority of the best states are blue, and the majority of the worst states are red. The southern states, the southern red states, have the highest rates of violent crime, the lowest rates of education, the worst healthcare and health outcomes. And yet they sit on their high horses and point fingers at the blue cities in California and New York and the coastal elites and blame those folks for their problems instead of looking at the real cause of their problems, which is the policies of their Republican governors and their Republican government officials in their states. How do we know? Because in the majority of blue states, exact opposite. Best education, best healthcare, best quality of life, lowest crime. And yet there is still this enduring belief in red states that blue states and Democrats are the ones that mess things up, while people in red states, the majority of them, continue to suffer as a result of their own government's choices. And now we're seeing that happen on a federal level because people decided this is going so well in the South, we should do it everywhere. And don't get it twisted. I am not saying by any measure that the Democratic Party is not also a mess right now because their leadership cannot figure out a way to get out of their own way and meet this moment in the way that it needs to be met. But historically speaking, over recent time, the most recent administrations, which are the only ones that I bothered to look at, since the Bushes and Obama and Clinton, those people on, the Democrats have done a far better job running the government than Republicans. Where does this lie that Republicans are fiscally responsible come from? Because they're not.
The lie comes from Republicans who need to tell their constituents that they are the fiscally responsible ones when they aren't even close to being the fiscally responsible ones. What she said is absolutely correct. Over the course of my lifetime, I was born at the tail end of the Nixon administration. I've been alive for Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Poppy Bush, Clinton, W, Obama, Trump, Biden, and now Trump. Throughout the course of my lifetime, Republican administrations have fucked our economy up beyond all recognition, and Democrats have fixed it. Ronald Reagan lowered taxes by more than any president in I don't know how fucking long, maybe ever, right? He dramatically lowered tax rates, and he blew a massive hole in the debt and deficit. We had inflationary measures all over the place. Shit was way more expensive. And our economy started to suffer. He also started to chip away at the middle class. Poppy Bush was a 4-year extension of the Reagan economy. Then we got Clinton. What did Clinton do? Clinton actually worked with a Republican Congress, and they balanced the budget. We ran a surplus for 6 of his 8 years, I believe. Unheard of in today's day and age. He hands that economy off to George W. Bush. What does George W. Bush do? He cuts taxes dramatically again and starts 2 wars. He becomes the first president in American history to lower taxes while entering into war. He doesn't bother to pay for the wars. He doesn't actually put it on the books, and our economy begins to suffer. Now, the housing crisis that happened under Bush, partially him, partially Clinton, partially a whole bunch of people. But by the time W leaves office, we're shedding hundreds of thousands of jobs a month. Our economy is in the fucking tank. We've blown a massive hole in our debt and deficit again because we started giving tax breaks all over again. Obama comes in and he fixes that. We have the longest streak of uninterrupted private sector job growth in American history. By the way, Clinton holds the record for the most number of jobs created by any president, with something like 22 million jobs. Obama oversees the longest streak of uninterrupted private sector job growth in American history. He doubles the stock market, cuts unemployment in half, cuts government spending by 2/3, saves the auto industry, and brings us back from the brink of a depression. He hands that off to Trump. Trump immediately gets his 2017 Trump tax cuts, the greatest job creator this country will ever see. And we see a plateauing of the economy in the first 3 years, pre-COVID. He oversees the creation of 1.4 million fewer jobs than Obama did in his last 3 years. Then he ignores a pandemic, watches the entire economy drive off a cliff, hands that off to Biden, and Biden fixes it, gets us back to pre-pandemic employment levels, plus 3+ million jobs, gets a whole bunch of bipartisan bills passed, infrastructure, the CHIPS Act, the PACT Act. We're rebuilding roads. We're making technology here. We're making sure our most vulnerable veterans are covered. And now we've handed that back off to Trump, and what are we doing? We're starting tariff trade wars again. We're pissing off allies. We're seeing farmers freak the fuck out. Trust me, I know. I'm kind of in that space. We move bulk agricultural commodities, and yeah, that industry is no bueno right now. It's okay at best, and it's going to start suffering more. Imports already starting to suffer. We're seeing inflation rise again. It is a pattern. You want to fuck an economy up? Elect a Republican. You want to fix an economy? Elect a Democrat. It's been that way my entire life. So why would I ever vote Republican?